Hello folks. So today I'm working on my countertops in my kitchen and my bathrooms, and I'm just going to show you how, kind of how I go about doing this. I sort of got into it a little bit there in the cabinet video, but this video we're going to get a little bit deeper into it. So the way we're doing the counters in this home is called flat lay. There's different ways that you can do counters. You can buy what's called, a prefabricated post form top, at your building center, like Home Depot or Lowe's, those places. You're pretty much limited to what you can do with those by, because they're not custom. They're just, just run out, and then you have to work with, what you have there, what they make. Then there's the stone tops, or the granite tops, solid surfaces we call them. Those are nice. They're quite expensive, and in a home like this, we just can't warrant the cost. They're about 3 or 4 times as much as a laminate top. So when I talk about laminate tops, this is this is the material here, and so this is a thin material. It's I don't know how thick it would be, but good 1/16 of an inch thick, and it's called laminate because it's basically what it is it's layers of paper that are laminated together with resin to become this plastic material. And they finish it on the top with a plastic, in whatever design or finish that you want. So this is flat lay. These are not made in a factory. We do them on site, and the process of this is we have to build up a base, and so this is our base here. You can see we've used 5/8 MDF. Board. Some people call it Ranger board. And basically what we do here is we want to build up, we want to get some thickness to it to make it look, thicker. And basically everything is set up with your cabinets that it's set up for 1.5 inch thick countertop. You can see we've got 2 layers here, so we've used 2 layers of 5/8, so this gives us 1.25 inches. So we're cheating a little bit on this, but you'll find that if you look at a lot of your quartz tops and marble tops and those kinds of tops, they're 1.25 inches as well. Some of those kind of lower end solid surfaces, they will go even less. They'll be like a 3/4 inch. So all of this is just made up. We've got 2 layers of material here to get our thickness. This material is not solid underneath there, 2 layers. Just basically what we do is we cut a band. We cut a band here, across there, and across there, and across the back, and then just laminate those 2 together. Just use carpenter's glue and pin it with some 1-inch pins. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see the seam there, but that's how wide the strip is. It's about 3.5 inches is all it is. All right, and then we screw that to the top. So these are down here solid now. You can see some screws there. And so the way this is going to look when it's done is this laminate's going to come up to the wall, and then we will be applying a backsplash, a ceramic tile backsplash, that will come right down on the tile. Some of your post-form tops, they have that thing that comes up at the back, the backsplash that's molded in. And so, that's a really sort of a low-end contractor kind of style to do things, and then they just leave the wall painted above that. People will come along afterwards, and then they'll put tile on that, and they'll tile down to that backsplash. And it works, but it doesn't look custom. And what this does is it gives you a custom look. So here you can see on our peninsula, this is where our sink's going to go right here. You can see on our peninsula here that we've got, this is pretty wide across here. So if you're not doing a solid surface, or if you're not doing this flat lay, what happens is you'll end up with seams. So by doing this, this way, we use a 5x12 sheet of material, and I'll show you, we've got a 5x12 sheet down here. So this is 5 feet wide, 12 feet long. And this is how we get, we kind of design it so that we, our base will fit that material, and so we don't have to have any seams. Otherwise, if you tried to use, tops that you just buy, you'd have a seam in here somewhere, and probably another one over here somewhere. It'd be a lot of seams, and doing it this way, when it's done, there's no seams. It looks like a solid piece of stone. In this case here, what we're doing is we're trying to make this look like concrete, and the material that we're using here, just for those that are interested, we're using a Formica product. Okay, and so this is a Formica 6317-58 weathered cement matte finish. So that's what this is called. While I'm here, I'm just gonna give you a little look underneath so you can see kind of how we've done this, underneath to build it up to this 1.25 inch thickness. You can just see we have a strip here. And then because of our cantilever on the back there, we came a little further into here to, just make that more solid over there on the back side. All right, so in the process of, fabricating up the bases, you need to have your bases right, and everything has to be, it's all preparation. If you don't have your bases all true and, correct, that's going to be reflected when you apply your laminate, because, the laminate is quite thin. So, there's a lot of work on the edges, and so my edges are all done here. Okay, you can see here on these edges where I've used some plastic wood to fill in some little discrepancies that I had. So you can see here where, there was a bit of a dip in there. I had to correct that with plastic wood. And plastic wood is just a filler. I'll show it to you over here. So this is the material here. This is plastic wood. So this is not water-based. This is a solvent-based material, but it's a filler. You put it on and it dries very, very hard. It's just like the wood when it's done. So these 5x12 sheets are, you just don't normally find them down at your local building center. Usually you'll find 4x8s. So this is the kind of thing that you might have to go to a cabinet supply house to get, and that's what I do. And get them from them. Or you could possibly have your building center order it for you. You're going to pay more money for it. These two sheets here cost me just under $200 a sheet with taxes and everything. So it's a fairly inexpensive way to do a counter, but when it's all done, it looks great. So what I've been doing here is cutting up the pieces, and this is kind of the biggest job is getting everything cut up. And so what I do is I go through and I make a cut list here of all my pieces, and then I start with the biggest piece first, and then I start going cutting out pieces from that down to biggest to smallest. And so this is kind of tricky here. We have an inside corner here, and when you're cutting this stuff, I'll show you how it cuts, but basically here you have to be careful, because if you just cut in there, what you can do is you create a weak point, and this can tear on you. So all you do is just drill a 1/2 inch hole, and you can see I've got the hole there, and then you just cut into that hole from both ways, and this will not rip. Okay, well, it will rip if you're not careful, but not as easily. Now the tools that we use for this job is, you need a good straight edge. So here I've got a 6-foot metal straight edge, and then these are the cutters that we use. and I have a variety of cutters that I use. This is my main one right here. You can see it's got this hook blade on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's got that hook blade on it, and it just basically scratches, it scores. It scores the material. It's very much like cutting drywall, but it scores the material, and then you just snap the material. This is another one that I have. This is for, you know, it's a little bit smaller than that one. It's just, you know, different, for different, you get into different things and you use different cutters. Then I have just a plain old box cutter knife. And then this is a carbide tipped a laminate cutter. Okay, just another way to cut it. I'll be using a file to you know, finish the edges and stuff. I also have a power laminate trimmer that I'm going to pull out here, and I'll show you that as well. The glue that we use is a solvent-based contact cement, and you can get water-based, latex-based solvents, contact cements. I've used them, and I've not had good luck with them. I've had trouble with, you know, the laminate lifting, you know, down the line, and that's not fun to deal with. I find that if I use the solvent-based contact cements, I have much better luck. So we'll be applying that. I'm going to show you how to do that. We'll be applying that with a roller and also a brush. All right, so that's kind of getting started here. I'm going to carry on. I'm cutting sheets. You know, like I say, for this job, it's going to take 2 5x12s to, you know, to do all of our counters. We've got 3 kitchen counters here. We've got the big one, and then we have the small one over there. And you can see I've got a piece cut for over there. You know, then we have a laundry area cabinet and two bathroom vanities. So, you know, that's why you have to kind of figure out how you're going to cut it so that you don't make a mistake, and you know, then you'll find that you're short a laminate. Your job might be, you know, might take one 5x12, might take one 4x8, it might take a 5x12 and a 4x8. You know, it depends on what you're doing. So once I get all my big panels cut, then I'll be cutting the edge strips. Okay, so, you know, there's lots of cutting that I got to do. And once I start to apply, the way we do is we apply the edges first, get those all set and clean and filed, and then we apply the top on top of that, and then we trim the edges to that. So stay tuned, folks. Here I'm gonna carry on a little bit here with my cutting. This is kind of scary. It's you know, you're dealing with some expensive materials here, and you have to you know, be careful that you don't make a mistake. And a mistake with this is expensive. All right, folks, stay tuned. All right, folks, I'm gonna just show you how I cut this. Now, there's you know, there's a variety of ways that you can cut this. What I'm doing here is cutting a strip for the front of the that laundry counter, and so, you know, I've made my mark at each end. So in this case, my face is actually that I'm going to cover is 2.5. So I'm cutting this 2 3/4, and so you oversize it, you know, by about 1/4 of an inch, so that then you have room to trim it. So I've just laid my straight edge down here on my 2 marks, you know, and I'm using this cutter. So this is the one with this hook, and that's the cutting edge right there. That little point right there is the cutting edge, and I just follow along the straight edge here. And this kind of makes a sound like fingernails scratching on the blackboard. I just go and make a score. You're just making a score. You're not actually cutting it. All right. Okay, now once I've got that score made, what I do, I don't know if you can see it in the video here, but there's the score right along there where I score it with this blade. Okay, then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to go through there again, being very careful. You know, the score will act as a guide. Just making another run through there. That will help give me a nice clean cut. Okay, once I have it done like that, so that, you know, you'll see this is very similar to you know, to drywall. So then I take this, turn it over like this, and just snap this back. And you know, the thing to do with this is just to take your time and just, you know, be careful. And you can see it here now though, this is broken off and we have a nice clean edge here. So we're going to put this edge down on our counter, and this edge is going to stick up above the counter, and then we're going to trim this down flush. And then once we get that set, then we will, you know, put the top, we'll come and overlay that. So just like that. Now there's different so there's different ways that you can cut it. That's one of the ways. To trim that to length now, what I will be doing is, you know, I'll be using my miter saw over here. So, you know, I'm going to get this guy going here to, you know, trim it lengthwise. You know, and you can also use a table saw. You know, because there's my table saw there. Because it's kind of flimsy stuff, it's hard to handle by yourself. So, you know, for the most part, you know, I just use those scoring knives. All right, so that's how I cut it. Stay tuned, folks. More coming. All right, folks. So this is another way that you can cut this stuff. I've just got my little table saw set up here, and what I've done here is I put this board on here because there's a big gap, you know, around those blades. You know, with that normal insert. So to tighten up that insert, tighten up the blade, what we do is, you know, we just put a piece of scrap board on here, just clamp it to the saw, and, you know, set this distance for whatever we want to cut, and then just, you know, bring the blade up into this piece of wood here, so it just comes through a little bit. And now you can see we've got a nice tight kerf around that, so we're not going to get any chipping. And I've got this set up to cut my edges. So I'm going to fire up the saw here, and warning alert, it's going to be kind of noisy. And this might not be too pretty here because I'm holding the camera in one hand, and I'm going to try and push this through here. But the scrap, this is what I'm going to cut here. It's just a piece of scrap. I just want to show you how this is done. But yeah, here we go. Watch your ears. Alright, so there, now you can see we have this strip cut, and, you know, there's no chips on it when we've done it this way. You know, this is going to get glued onto the edges now, and again, it's oversized a little bit. So my counters are 1.25 inches, so I have cut this at 1.5 inches to give me, you know, 1/4 inch for trimming. I'll be lining up on the bottom of the counter and trimming off the top. All right, so I'm going to next up we're going to do some gluing and put some edges on. Stay tuned. All right, folks, so moving right along here with the next segment. So once you get everything all cut out, then you have to you do your edges first. And your edges, you have to do your edges in a certain order. You know, to get it done, to be able to do it, because when you put your edges on, you leave it, you know, you cut your strips are a little bit bigger, And so what you do is, once you put the edge on, you have to trim it, and you let it stick past the ends. So like on this one, for example, you have to trim this all back flush before you can put your next piece on. Otherwise, you got this piece sticking out here. So I've gone ahead and, I've got this edges on here all the way along. Okay, that's done. And, kind of what I've done over here is, what I did was I did this one first here. Okay, and now you can see I'm going to finish up by putting the end cap on here. All right, so this is all glued up. Okay, and here's the piece down here. This is the back side of it that's been glued. And so this will be coming up onto there. And just kind of likewise all the way around. You can see here, this one has got it on around all three sides. I haven't trimmed it back into the corner here, so you can see how, it's up here, so this has to get trimmed. And so before I trimmed it, it was like this all the way along here. Okay, and over the end as well. So what I do with on the top is I use my random orbital sander. This is this guy right here. If you've been watching the videos, you've seen this guy before. So once I trim it with that laminate trimmer, and I'll show you that tool in a second here. Then I go over it with this to make this all has to be very flush, very even here. So when we go to put the top piece on, this is all nice and smooth and fits down nice and tight. Okay, and here you can see I've got, this is glued up, and here I've got the strip on top here that will be sticking on there. So this is contact cement. So what you do with this is you put it on both of the surfaces, you let it dry for specified time, and then you bring them together, and as soon as they touch, they're stuck. Now different glues have different specifications for the times and everything, so I'm not going to get into the times, but roughly it's about 30 minutes. You have 30 to 40 minutes. This stuff is, as I said before, I use a solvent based, and this stuff this glue is really what we call hot. It really moves fast. So folks, this is not a job for the faint of heart. This is pretty advanced stuff when you get into putting laminate on. I mean, you can do it. You just have to take your time and do the steps. But it's kind of technical. So what we put the glue on with the edges, and the edges is the hardest part of doing all this. Once you get all your edges on, you've got it made. So this is the glue here that we're using. Again, I showed this to you before, but it's just a solvent-based contact cement. And then we use these. What I use to put this onto the edges is these little brushes here. And I buy them in this pack of like 15 pack of they're called chip brushes, and they're very, very inexpensive. They're about $1 a piece. And that glue, once when you use it, you just throw this thing away. It's not worth the solvent to try and keep to clean this thing and save it. So you just chuck it. You have to use a brush that's not going to melt. So if you try to use, for example, a foam brush, that contact cement will actually melt your brush. You don't want that to happen. And here's the laminate trimmer. This is what we use to trim the laminate. Now I'm going to show you how this works. I'll show you this in action here in the next segment here pretty quick. But this basically is the tool that we use to trim it back. And it's basically just a small router. Once we start getting into laying the tops, these are going to come into play, and I'm going to show you how we use these guys. But that's pretty, that's pretty much the edges for right now, and I'm almost got the edges all installed here, and then I'll be going on to gluing up the tops. As you can see, this one here is in progress. All right, folks, so stick tuned. Next we'll be putting on those big sheets. All right, folks, so I've got the edges are all installed now, and I'm working on the tops. And I have gone ahead and put that contact cement now on the base of the cabinet, and also on the back side of the laminate that we're going to be putting on top of this now. So this is contact cement. So when it as soon as it contacts, it sticks. Like, it sticks immediately. So what we do is I just have these 1/2 inch dowels that I've cut, and I place them on here. This is, you know, dry to the touch now. What these do is they keep the sheet that I'm going to lay on top of here from contacting until I want it to. So this allows me to put that sheet over here and position it, and then I'll be pulling out these dowels as I, you know, work along. I'll be pulling out and then pressing the top sheet into this, and that will make contact, and it'll be stuck. It'll be stuck there forever. So this is a real fast process. It's just me doing the camera here. I'm not going to be able to show you, you know, sticking this down, but it's just a simple thing of just taking that sheet, laying it over there now, getting it positioned, you know, and then pulling these out. All right, so I've made contact with the, you know, the top laminate here with the base. You know, there's my dowels, so I've pulled them out. So this is just kind of sitting here now, and what I need to do now is I need to, you know, press this into the base. So what I have is I have this roller, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be, you know, pushing down on this and just rolling this. And you always want to kind of start in the back corner and, you know, along the back edges, and then work your way out. So if there's any air bubbles underneath there, they're going to work out. Okay, and now you can see here how we've got it. You know, it's overhanging the counter. Here it's not touched yet. I'm leaving a space there for the air to work out. But you can see how this is overhanging. What we're going to do then is we're going to trim this. You know, once this is contacted, we'll be trimming this with that laminate trimmer. And I'll show you that. I'll set up a tripod or something, and, you know, so you can have a good look at that. But this is just kind of how it goes. All right, stay tuned. Okay, folks, so got a little bit ahead of myself here on these counters. I was wanting to kind of show you how this trimmer works here, but just kind of the way it went here, I wasn't able to do that. So I'm just gonna have to explain it to you. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but the laminate is all down on the counters now, all of the counters, and so what we're doing now is you know, working on getting the sinks installed. And so this is the kitchen sink, stainless steel. So I'll be working on, you know, installing the tap and stuff today. So we'll show you that in another video. But yeah, this is where we're at. So I still have to do some work on the edges here. So we have to do some filing, you know, on these edges to finish them up. And you can see back in the corner here, right in here, the trimmer doesn't get right back in there. So there's a little bit of, you know, work to trim that all up there. But this is the trimmer that I use. I'll show you over here. This is the machine here, and this is basically, it's just basically a small router, but it does have a variety of accessories that, you know, that you can use for different laminate trimming tasks. This is a professional grade tool. I don't think you can rent these. I'm not sure. Certainly something that you're not going to find that your average do-it-yourselfer is going to have. It's a very expensive little machine, but, you know, I've done quite a bit of this over the years. Actually, about 20 years ago, I had a little cabinet shop, and you know, built a whole pile of cabinets for, you know, for customers. So basically, what this is, you can see that this is offset. We have, you know, this is the trimmer down here. Right here is the bit sticking through right here. Whoop. And what it does, it's a flush. So flush trimming. So this edge here, I haven't done anything to this edge. This is just how it's trimmed after you make the pass with this little trimmer. And so this thing, this has a belt on it. It connects to the main body here. So, but this is what's called offset, and you can see there it says offset. And what this does is, you know, it lets you get into, just bring it over to the edge here. It allows you to really get in close, you know, to the wall. So, you know, if you had just the regular trimmer, you know, you're out here somewhere, you know, without the offset, but the offset allows you to get back in there, that little extra bit. So it's the same trimmer that I used, you know, on the edges. You know, there's other bits that you can use, and You know, there's always more than one way to do a job, but this is how I do it, and it works really well. So again, you know, this is a job that is kind of, you know, pretty advanced to put laminate on. You know, if you can do it, you save yourself a pile of money. To have these tops done, like right for the bases and everything, and this is the flat lay top. You know, this job would have been about $2,000 to hire someone to come in and do it. You know, my material costs was about you know, about $500 is what I spent in materials. And you know, I plugged away at it here over a few days. You know, I had other things to do and one thing and another. But you know, if you really put your mind to it, you could do this in a, you know, in a long day. You could do the tops, you know, day and a half. So good money to be made if you can you know, if you can do it. All right, folks. So we're going to be getting into ceramic tile next. We have a ceramic tile backsplash to do on the kitchen here now. So that tile is going to go right from the counter up to underneath. We're doing a full backsplash underneath the cabinets there. You know, same thing on the cabinet over there, and as well as the, you know, the other cabinets. We got a couple vanities and that little laundry cabinet there. So that's going to be up next. We've got a couple bathroom floors. The ensuite bathroom floor is heated, so I'm going to show you the installation of the electrical cable for that. So yeah, those are going to be some pretty interesting videos coming up. All right, folks, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you'll get notifications when we put up videos. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Hit that like button. It all helps the channel a lot. Doesn't cost you anything, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.